jump into the most common mistakes, or like how you see artists setting up the wrong way, and what's the right way to get the label going, or how to start a music career from the ground up.
Got you. Well, many artists, they don't really understand what they're selling. Like, they know they make music, they know it streams, but they don't know exactly what it is. And a lot of times this starts with the copyright. Well, not a lot. It actually starts with the copyright. It is the asset that they own, but they don't exactly tell people that they own it because they don't register it, right? And so if you're starting with that, if you're selling this asset, this intellectual property asset called the copyright, well, who should own it? That's going to be the bottom line question right there. Because many times, collaborators, they start with the producer and the writer or the artist or both, and they put it out and they split it 50-50. Okay, cool. But what we have is a side hustle, right? We got a side hustle right now, and we got to form this thing. And usually what you normally see happen before they want to come back and structure their businesses is something goes viral, and then a deal is put in place, whether it be small or large. And then from there, you normally have the artist signing themselves directly to the label instead of actually doing it as an organized structure as a company, right? So in order to protect those assets, I tell artists all the time, you got to start that LLC first. This is no different if I was starting a cookie business. Mm-hmm. What we're selling and what we're licensing is the copyright. That's why we get those 6 licenses, those 6 rights with every copyright, whether it be the musical work or whether it be the sound recording. The first 2 things we're selling. And then, there's others like your artwork and all this type of stuff we can go into. But once we decide, okay, we're going to build this thing, who's going to be in the company? And usually it's just going to be that artist, right? All of this is education that I find that a lot of artists don't understand, whether they lease beats, whether they purchase beats. When they go into the studio and pay for the studio time, they don't understand what they're actually paying for. And that's what I break down on my show. That's what I break down when artists call me, or it could be producers, artists, managers. I mean, you name it. I've had some really big people call me out of the blue, some legacy legendary people call me still needing help with this. And I see that this is a problem. So what I decided to do was go back to the source and figure out what the issue was. And it was simply that artists did not truly know what they were actually selling and how to sell it.
So, all right. So starting the LLC, I'm a brand new artist, I start my LLC, which is a limited liability company, meaning that if somebody wants to sue your company, they're just going after the assets of the company and not after any of your personal assets.
Correct.
All right. So now I have my LLC set up. I went and did my paperwork at a government office, and I need to do something with these copyrights.
Right.
What do I do next?
That's a good question. Many people don't know what to do with that. All right. So we got the LLC. But once you have that LLC, which must be done first, when you go and register for your copyrights, the copyright is now owned by your LLC. So you can put your name in as the author. Sure, you can. But when it comes to who's the claimant of the copyrighted work, right, that belongs to the company. You want that to belong to the company just for, let's say you have a song that goes viral and it is not attached to you, but the company owns that, right? But you sampled something in there. And I'm speaking from experience because I did this. You know what I mean? And luckily I didn't get sued, but they took my money. So, you want the LLC to own that copyright. Whether you sample, whether you did an interpolation, whatever, or if someone, let's say you do something, you're a rowdy type of artist, right? And you do something crazy in the club personally to somebody, you don't want those assets, those copyrights to get mangled in your legal matters. You know what I mean? You want to keep all that stuff separate. And that's what actually goes in that LLC. That's what we're using it for. And we can use it for a lot of different things. But to start with the music itself, we're starting with the sound recording and the musical work. And the LLC will own that. Therefore, we stash it inside the LLC. All right.
So we got the LLC. Am I going down to a government office to do these copyrights? Am I going to a website to do these copyrights? Where am I going?
Well, I mean, this is what I recommend. I'm a Frank Lucas type of guy. I like to go direct. So most of this will be done at your Secretary of State's office, wherever, and it's got to be done in the state that you reside in. I'm going to say that first before you get too advanced with foreign stuff. You know what I mean? Foreign LLCs here and there. I wouldn't recommend that for any artist when they're just getting started. Do it in the state where you live in, right? Go down there and register. If you don't trust yourself to do it right, you can always use like a Zen Business or a LegalZoom. You'll pay a little bit more, but at least you'll feel that you did it right. Either way, those are the two best ways you can do it, through a LegalZoom style website or at your state's Secretary of State office website.